And we'll be hearing from again in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker today is a lady by the name of Rachel Jones. Rachel is the founder and the director of ZoeCare, South Dakota's newest pregnancy care center located in the city of Yankton. It was almost a year ago that I, along with our South Dakota Right to Life board president, Debbie Pease, made our way to Yankton to tour this new facility and meet this new director. Well, as amazed as I was with their facility and with the operation of ZoeCare, friends, I was really taken. I was taken by the heart, the love, the pro-life passion of its director, Rachel Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium a great pro-life leader who has chosen to step up to the plate in protecting women and babies in South Dakota. Rachel Jones, please make your seat.
Thank you. That is such a nice welcome. I'm really excited, and I am just really honored to get to stand up here today and share a bit of my story as well as the ZoeCare story with you. If this is your first time that you have heard of ZoeCare, you are not out of the loop. Do not worry. ZoeCare is a brand new pregnancy resource center that opened in Yankton, South Dakota 18 months ago. It is said ZoeCare. Zoe is a Greek word that means abundant life. And so our center is named after John 10:10, in which Jesus says, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. Because that is what we want for every woman that we're serving. Of course, we want her to choose life, and we want her baby to be born. But we want that baby to experience more than just living, but thriving. We want that for the women that we're serving, that they would just experience abundant life. So let me just rewind here a little bit, and I'm going to start out with telling you some of my personal story. My husband and I have been very blessed, and we have 4 young sons. We happen to have 4 boys in 4 years' time. So we had a very, very busy household. After our second son was born, my husband picked up a new hobby, and he decided that he wanted to become the breakfast master. So he perfected his own buttermilk pancake recipe. And on Saturday mornings, our home is just filled with the smell of melting butter and the sound of sizzling bacon and the sound of a special playlist that my husband calls Saturday morning music. In 2015, he added a new song to this playlist, and that was the song Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. If you're not familiar with the song Fast Car, it tells the story of a woman who finds herself in a desperate situation, and she dreams of an escape. She finds this escape in her boyfriend's fast car. As we were listening to this, sorry, I like to use my hands. I'll step back. As we were listening to this song, I just started to feel the Lord pulling on my heart. I did not know anyone like the woman in this song, but I knew that there had to be women in my own community who were struggling. So I decided to pray a fairly brave prayer, and I asked that God would send me someone like the woman in the song, and just let me love her just right as she was, right in the midst of her own desperate situation. Well, I met her. She was a single mom of 2 little girls that was working at our son's daycare. We became fast friends, and soon her and her daughters became like a part of our family. We would have her and her daughters over for supper several nights a week. We'd have really just intentional, deep conversations about what did it mean to be a family and be a mom, and what did a relationship with Jesus Christ look like. So this friend of mine, she started coming to our church, and she became active in our church. And during the summer of 2017, I had the honor of baptizing her. God was showing me how he could work through me to bring life and salvation to those that he placed in my path. Little did I know that this was just the beginning of the work that I would see the Lord do. In the spring of 2019, I attended a fundraiser event in my hometown, Orange City, Iowa. The keynote speaker was Abby Johnson, and we were so excited to go. Hearing Abby Johnson speak was inspiring. But seeing the work that this pregnancy center was doing in the place where I grew up, it moved something in me. I attended this event with a good friend and coworker named Barb. Barb and I have been working in cardiac rehab for a couple of years, and we often discussed pro-life topics during our break times. Now we have both been to this fundraiser event. We've both been inspired that if God could work through a pregnancy center in Little Orange City, Iowa, what could he do if we were to open one in Yankton? So Barb and I were just brainstorming, and we're getting excited, and we have a conversation that goes a little bit like this. Barb says, yeah, we really need someone who could lead this. And then I say, yeah, like who? Not even for a moment thinking that I would potentially be the person to bring a pregnancy center to Yankton. I was the really busy mom of 4 little boys. We have all kinds of excuses. They're a really good excuse because I was very, very busy. Our twin boys were 9 months old, and then we had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old boy as well. I already had a job that I loved and I was passionate about, and I had no experience working in nonprofits. But the Lord, he just started to gently and sweetly place this invitation on my heart to say yes to joining him on this mission. And after several months of feeling that invitation and that stirring within, his invitation became greater than any excuse that I could make up. And so I said yes to the call. So there I was with a big old yes in my heart. I'm going to open a pregnancy center. And basically no idea what I had committed to or what would even be required to make that happen. So I did what anyone should do. I consulted Google. So I did Google search. How do you open a pregnancy center? Google search. How do you start a nonprofit? Google search. Help? During one of my Google search panic days, I happened upon the Life Launch Grant Program provided by Heartbeat International. This was a $30,000 matching grant opportunity for brand new startup pregnancy centers. As I read about this grant, I knew our center was going to be a perfect fit. The only problem, I discovered this grant during the beginning of November, and it had closed about a week and a half earlier on October 31st. So I quickly sent off an email to Heartbeat, and I told them all about the center that we hoped to open, and that afternoon I received a call from Sarah at Heartbeat International. She told me that they had left that grant application open thinking that they needed one more center to apply. After she told me that she believed that we were the center that they had been waiting for, I began the application process that afternoon, and just before Christmas, we found out that we had indeed been chosen as a recipient of the Life Launch Grant. We were seeing the Lord's hand working for us in miraculous ways. So the next step, to become an official 501c3 nonprofit organization. Just saying that sounds intimidating. And the IRS does not make this an easy process. It can often take 2 to 3 years to be granted official status. As I looked over the 32-page tax form, plus another 10 pages of documentation that would be required, I was intimidated. So I swallowed my fear, like the good Dutch girl that I am, and I prayed to God, this is your idea, God, please help and equip me with this project. And then I decided that I would just do 1 page of the form a day, because that was much less intimidating. And sure enough, at the end of a month, I had completed the whole thing. I was able to share it with a local attorney who gave his approval, told me to send it in, and said it would probably be about 9 months before we heard anything back from the IRS. So my husband and I, we drove to the post office, we laid our hands on that envelope, and we just prayed the Lord's favor over it, and sent it in. 6 very short weeks later, we received a letter of determination from the IRS, an official 501c3. So now we're creating some momentum. We're getting excited. We're starting to make connections with local churches, recruiting volunteers, financial partners, prayer team members, and then COVID happens. And our board of directors has some major decisions to make. Can you even open a brand new pregnancy center in the midst of a global pandemic? The whole business as usual has been shut down. Can we move forward? Our leadership team prayed, and we felt led that if ever there was a time when our services would be needed, the time was now. So we continue to step out in faith, believing that God would provide. In less than 1 year, I went from resisting that call to leave to seeing the doors of the pregnancy center open in July of 2020. Where once there had been no place to go, there was now a safe place for women in crisis pregnancy to turn. And how did we do it? By taking it one step of faith at a time. By keeping our eyes just fixed on that vision that God had given us of abundant life for every woman, child, and family. One step at a time. That is how we serve the women who come into ZoeCare. When a woman comes to us and she is considering an abortion, the obstacles and the challenges that she is facing are very real and very difficult. Before we opened, I definitely had a stereotypical client in my mind. Maybe this is who you're picturing as well. She's maybe 18 years old, unexpectedly pregnant, and afraid of telling her parents. Or maybe she's afraid of how will I get a college degree while raising a child. This is just not the case that we have seen within the walls of ZoeCare. The women that we are serving are facing challenges that I had failed to imagine, and we are doing things that I never thought we would be doing. Serving our clients, it looks like me going home after a long day of work and frantically grabbing food out of my own fridge to lay it at the door of a pregnant woman that I know is hungry. It looks like attending addiction recovery meetings with them to help them stay sober and accountable. It looks like my husband loading up his trailer on a Friday night to help move a client who's just been evicted from her apartment and her baby is 10 days old. It looks like it's finding housing for a woman who is pregnant, alone, recently widowed, and living in her car when it is 100 degrees outside in the middle of summer. And we empower them with the resources and the support that they need to overcome their challenges. And we see it. We see them experience life and victory. However, this is a battle. We are fighting for life and death, and we do not always receive the outcomes that we desire. I'm going to tell you about two women that we have seen at ZoeCare over the last year. Both of these women came to us just convinced that abortion was their only option. One, she could not even say the word abortion without breaking down and hiding her face in her hands. Both of these women have been raised by single mothers, and both of them shared with us just the pain and the hurt that they had experienced watching their mothers through their childhood. As the one recounted just the struggles that her mother had, she said it was horrible. I am so sorry to tell you. I always cry. Neither of these women were able to find the courage to choose life with their unborn babies. They were so wounded by their mothers and the experiences that their mothers had as single parents that they could not overcome the fear. Which leads me to tell you about one more person. She comes to ZoeCare every week. She has big, round, blue eyes and blonde hair. She always walks in with a smile on her face and greets me with a hug. And she is always ready to play hide and seek. This is a 3-year-old that comes to ZoeCare with her mom and her baby sister. Her mom is one of the first clients that we had the opportunity to meet after we opened, and she has been thriving under the care that she has received just a very short amount of time, this little 3-year-old girl is going to grow into a young woman. And should she ever find herself unexpectedly pregnant, she will not weep in the counseling room as she talks about her mother and the experiences that she is having as a single mom. She is going to remember the love and care that her mother received. She has seen her mom being equipped with the life skills and the resources to be successful in her family, in her work. Her mom is doing Bible studies and growing in her faith. As we serve this little girl and her family, we are seeing their legacy transformed. The work that we do at ZoeCare works to make abortion both unwanted and unthinkable today, but also into the next generation. So I get to stand here and tell you all of these wonderful stories today, but just please do not get confused about the amount of help that I have had. I have a dedicated and talented board of directors who is backing me and empowering me every step of the way. Inside of ZoeCare, it's literally an army of volunteers who make the whole thing work. All of them playing their part to serve the clients who walk through our doors. There are prayer warriors who have been praying this thing into existence for years. And now, as we work together, we see the fruit of our labor. We see babies being born. 19 babies in 18 months. We see scared pregnant women growing into courageous mothers. We see souls coming to Jesus. So today, I want to extend an invitation to you. Is there a yes in your heart? Would you dare to take a step to be a voice for the voiceless? One step leads to the next step and the next step. Just imagine if all of us here leave with a yes in our heart, ready to play our part to seeing the ending of abortion in America. Now that would create a ripple effect across all of our communities, the entire state, and even into the next generation. Step by step, we can push back against the culture of death that is pressing down on this nation. We can keep our eyes fixed on the vision of abundant life for every woman, child, and family. And I believe that we will see victory.